We're gonna move on to the third pick here. What does CD have in store for this third pick? I have a feeling I know what you're gonna take, and you're gonna steal it from me. I know.
To be honest, I thought you were going to take him with the second pick, Brian Kelly, LSU.
Oh, there it is.
I mean, who had a more almost surprising success than Brian Kelly? I mean, Lincoln Riley was incredible, and they were in the college football playoff race till the very end. But what he did to win the West, I mean, who had that? Who had that? Right? So Brian Kelly took over for Ed Ogeron.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.
I mean, Ed Ogeron was a buffoon. We all know that. But he had that fell ass backwards. Well, I wouldn't say ass backwards, but he assembled a crazy talented team, one of the best teams of the decade.
Or did Les Miles do that? But I digress.
Yeah, Ed Ogeron, but he did some things. I mean, Joe Burrow was him. Now it was also the offense coordinator and Joe Brady, but
Joe Brady,
you know, whatever.
And, Dave Aranda, I believe.
He was DC there, yeah. So he had a crazy. That was a crazy
what a staff.
team
what a staff.
in general.
What a staff. I mean, and a talent. I mean, it was crazy. So,
but he left that program. You know, he drove that right to the ground. But they still had a lot of talent. I mean, they recruited 6, 4, 4, 7, right? And he walked into like the top 5, top 6, talent roster in the country. They obviously had a couple of transfers last year, but they played real well, right? Brian Kelly, he was at Notre Dame forever, couldn't win the big game, but I mean, you're playing with Notre Dame players, like you're never gonna beat Bama. They beat Georgia that one year, which was cool, but that was not really a great Georgia team. Cincinnati, he was there, kind of put Cincinnati more towards the map. They were pretty good at Central Michigan before that. So last year, yeah, they were 10-4. 6-2 in the SEC, first in the West with that big win,
which is wild. First year coach winning the West. Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean,
that's all you need to tell me. That's all you need to tell me to sell me.
Well, Kevin Sumlin almost did that, but almost. I mean, they beat Johnny Manziel. They had Johnny Manziel, and they still didn't do that. And that was a talented team too. But yeah, their over/under win total was 7. There were people that were doing their schedule, and they were struggling to make them bowl eligible with how
I was realistically one of them because I didn't see Jaden Daniels. I didn't see that talent. Well, I saw the talent. I didn't see how it was going to come all together. There was a lot of new pieces, Well, it's a tough West. It ended up kind of being a down year in the West this past year, but
it's always a gauntlet.
But here's the other thing too I want to talk about because I know you're an expert on this. Acquisitions in the transfer portal. Colorado was number 1 transfer portal or ranking in the country. LSU was 2.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on and on about them, but all you need to know is their cornerbacks were not very good, and they went out and got 4. All right, 2 of them I'm going to give you right now. All right, number 1, Denver Harris. He was a 2nd overall player in the portal for due reason, and you see Matthew Grimace there a little bit. A&M guy. Was in that big recruiting class and played and started as a freshman, and he was incredible when he was on the field. I mean, he made freshman mistakes on and off the field, So we'll see it. We'll see how that.
He's that talented, translates. Guys. He's talented.
If they can, keep his head on straight, then, he's gonna be shut down for 2 years there. And they've always had good corners, elite corners. And then Zy Alexander. All right, this guy's from southeastern Louisiana, not high school southeastern Louisiana. He played college ball at southeastern Louisiana. It's an FCS program. Him and his teammate Jack Henderson. Shout out Minnesota Gophers. He's going there. So they had 2 defensive backs go play Power 5 now. This guy ended up at LSU. Zy Alexander. And then defensively, Omar Spates, another one of those, just like Mason Cobb, highly sought after.
Highly sought out. All Pac-12.
Oregon State. When we love Oregon State, don't we here? Yeah. And then they brought in Aaron Anderson from Bama, and that he's originally from Louisiana as well.
It's a wide receiver, by the way, for the listeners.
Yep, wide receiver.
5-star out of high school.
Yep, true freshman last year. Played. Not spottingly, he was in the lineup for sure, but they had a lot of mouths to feed there, and to be honest, none of them really that elite, but no one separated. And he was one of the odd men out, but he's still real talented and he's going to put up good stuff. They were upset that they lost him. I know that. And then their recruiting class was incredible too. They brought in 2 wide receivers that people are really excited about, Jalen Brown and Shelton Sampson Jr. They brought in a stud offensive tackle, Zalance Hurd.
On top of their already very young offensive line.
Yeah, with 2 tackles that were freshmen. And shout out Brian Kelly for having the gonads to play 2 freshmen
in the SEC West.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, he gets an A+. He gets an A+ for that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's good.
Deshaun Womack at edge, people like a lot, and then Javion Tovano. That was a big recruiting win. They flipped from A&M, right?
Well, he was battling. It was between Texas and Texas A&M, and then late everyone's like, "Oh, the Texas wagon, hitching on Arch Manning," and then Brian Kelly said, "No, sorry about that. We want cornerback down here." So
yeah,
offensively, the efficiency wise, they were 9th in the country, and defensively, they were 17th in the country. So very, very good, and they got more talented. All right, they're one of my favorite teams to watch this year. They're gonna be very good, and as an A&M fan, I'm very nervous. We got to go there on the road in November. So